Hello Libra, welcome back to the channel if you're a returning subscriber. If you're new, thank you for joining me, and I wish you a very, very happy 2020, and yeah, look forward to working with you later. So now, I hope you enjoy the insights here. This is a general reading, so there are aspects in it which could apply to you, but they could also apply to somebody else that you're interacting with at this time. So you could see aspects of this playing out in their lives. And there are lessons in all things, so whatever you're seeing or following, whether it applies to you or somebody else, is appropriate and in perfect timing. So if you have strong influences associated with another sign in your birth chart, something that you know does affect you, whether it's your moon or your Venus in a different sign, whatever it is that you've come to experience as being applicable for you, then you can cross-watch to my other videos to get further insights and more information. I have shuffled and laid out the cards. So as they're appearing in each house of the zodiac, then those are the influences that are coming in for you at this time. The bottom of the deck is Venus love. So I feel aspects of this are going to come in, but they're going to be different for everybody depending on where you are and what is going on with you in particular. But the overall influence of Venus is basically love. So, but through that, whether you apply it personally or impersonally, and by that I mean whether it's to significant others or to situations in your life, then it basically brings in balance, beauty, charm, and refinement. So all of those aspects come in with Venus. So whatever's going on currently at this time, just bear that in mind: balance, beauty, charm, and refinement. All of those aspects are going to be highlighted for you in some way, or you need to bring them in some way. It can also bring in, obviously, romance and love, but it can also be in regards to a partnership. So that's a love or romantic partnership, or it can be some other kind of partnership as well, because partnership is one of the top influences with Venus. It has aspects of that coming in. So what it's saying is that, that is highlighted for you in a romance and love is highlighted for you in that kind of partnership, or if it's another kind of a partnership, then it would be mutual support and coming together to move forward. So now this card can also bring in the requirement of the need for luxury and indulgence. So it could be that you may have the strong urge to do that for yourself, or it could just be something that's an aspect that's coming in for you, or perhaps you need to do that for yourself periodically. But it's almost like a yearning for the good life, so it's a need for that in your life, the yearning for the good life, striving for that, striving for that aspect of balance and beauty and charm, or romance and love, striving to bring that into your life. And with that could possibly come luxury and indulgence. On the partnership aspect, just be careful that it doesn't become codependent. That can come in sometimes with the Venus influence. So that is why balance is very, very important. Balancing your needs with the other person's needs so that codependency doesn't become an issue. It could also be that legal issues which you have been grappling with, and that may come up in your chart. Legal issues will more than likely find resolution with this card coming in. So that's more than likely to do with shared resources as well, or some kind of legal aspect to do with material or emotional or financial resources coming in. So now, in your first house, you have fire element desire, which is that beautiful spark to get things done. But I feel that it's being driven by the 12th house, which this time around has South Node life's debts. So that's about dropping baggage, dropping old ways of doing and thinking and being. And once you do that, then this comes in. So we'll get, at the end of the reading, we'll get to this card. So just bear that in mind, that this is going to be the driving force to enable you to do this. It is possible that it may be the other way around, where you are driven to do something and that triggers the dropping of the baggage from the past. So there's a kind of an interrelationship going on there. But fire element desire is coming in for you in your first house. First house is the house of yourself. This is your vitality, your life energy, how you are making your way in the world, your personal independence, your outlook, your attitudes, everything that you bring when you arrive in a room or in a place. It's everything you bring with you in yourself. It's also your character, your personality, and what you project to others. So this is how you're going to approach things in your life. Whatever it is that you need to do or get done, this is what's going to come in for you. It's also your self-oriented interests. So that could be anything to do with yourself, whether it's your physical body, because this rules that as well, or it could just be, as I said, your attitude and your, the way you are currently. So with fire element desire, I feel what this is, it can be a couple of things. It's bringing in passion, possibly even lust. So that may be an element for you, but it also brings in action, courage, daring, almost like burning the past away, clearing the landscape for planting new things or for bringing new things in. So you're going to be getting energy, and this is going to descend upon you, and you're going to be able to move forward with a great many things. It's rapid, fast-moving energy, fiery energy. You may also have to get up front with someone as well, to actually clear the air, and you have to be brutally honest, I think, with this, because this can be that way. You're going to be making changes, or you're going to be driven to make changes, but they're going to be rapid, swift, all-encompassing changes. You may just need to, when getting back to get up front with someone, you may need to protect your interests at this time from bossy people or people who think they know better, and they're going to give you advice which is not necessarily good advice. It's advice that they are giving thinking it's the right thing, and it may not be applicable to you at all. They simply won't have a full understanding of what is going on with you. So just protect your interests, protect your energy, and you may, as I said, you may have to get up front with someone with that. But it's basically, it kind of indicates a challenge that you may be facing at this time, and it's the overcoming of that. But it could also be a change of direction, and this is rapid. As I said, it descends upon you and you're off in a completely different direction to what others perceived you to be doing. So you could be coming across as quite forceful and knowing your own mind, determined, and having the courage now to take action, and it will be swift. Then in the second house, we have part of fortune increase. So lovely card to be having in your second house. Second house is the house of your income. So this is the money and resources coming in for you at this time. But it's also the house of self-worth, which is often tied to that. But it's your self-worth, and it's also your value system. So what you value in yourself and in others and in your environment. So this can be your possessions, your ownership of things, and your attitude towards that as well. And it's also the this house also covers property, land, real estate. So whether that's a career for you, or whether it's something that you do or you would like to do as a part of your investment, or just some aspect of your life currently. So with this card coming in, there's going to be a karmic trigger of some kind. So now a karmic trigger is as I said, is attached to something normally which is past life related. But if that is not something that you're into, then it could be just something from a past event, or just something that's been latent in you that gets triggered in some way. But this is normally a talent or an ability or an aptitude for something. Something gets triggered through an event or something that's said or done, whatever, but it gets triggered, and now that talent or that ability or that aptitude or that possibility rises to the surface. And it now shows itself, and so it was a hidden something, comes to the surface, and now you can utilize this better. And you may need to be doing some learning around the polishing of that or the refining of that. So that may be coming in for you. This card is very much a pot of gold card. So I feel, because it's appearing in your second house, what it's asking you to do is to take a good look at your income, where it's coming from, how you're getting it, but also your self-worth and your values and your all forms of ownership and possession. Somewhere in that landscape is a pot of gold which has not yet been harnessed. So it's something that you have overlooked or you have underutilized in some way. Something is a pot of gold for you. So you need to have a good thorough look around to figure out what it is. And as I said, learning may be involved around that to harness it, to bring it into being. So that may be an option for you. But this card very often brings in recognition in some way. So you could be getting recognition for something which then increases your income, or it increases your self-worth, or it increases your values, or your material things that you've got around you, your ownership. This card also brings in rewards. So this is rewards for effort, but also just, as I say, a reward for perhaps work that you've done, or just your, sort of a universal reward. It's very much a destiny card. So this could be attached to something like a mindset, or something you've been working on your whole life, or it's something that you project. It's some skill. It's also appreciation. This may come in as well with this, but it's an easier flow. Abundance literally drops into your lap. This is gifts and abundance coming to you. Now, abundance can take many forms, but because it's in your second house, more than likely it's attached to money in some way. But as I said, it could also be rewards or recognition. So abundance drops in your lap, and it's like doors open for you. There's an easier flow. Good fortune is available for you at this time. Then in the third house, we have Chiron healing. Third house is the house of communication, all forms, written, verbal, body language, and it's also your self-expression, but it's also attached to specific family members. So it can be people in general. It can even be a wider audience. So this can be on a platform or an online situation, or just around you in general. But for specific people, it can be aunts, uncles, cousins, relatives, siblings, and also neighbors come in on this as well. So it could be something like that coming in for you, but it can also just be communication in general with a specific person or with others. But it covers documents, it covers contracts as well. So the third house covers all of that, and it can also cover short trips. So this is journeys locally as well. But with, it also covers learning and the love of learning. So you could be doing that in some way as well. But I feel this is more to do with communication or covering documents or contracts around that. So this is Chiron healing coming in. This is saying that in this house, somewhere along the line, you've got an old dysfunction, or it could be a wounding or a situation that has occurred, and it's coming back at you now. So it's almost like it's reoccurring. So it could be reoccurring, or it could be something that has occurred recently, and now it's the elements of it are coming through again. So it's some sort of dysfunction. It could be something old that you've said or you needed to express, you should have expressed and you didn't, and it's coming back again, or it was something that you said or did before and now it's coming back again. But it's it's old patterns or patterns of behavior or wounding. And this is more than likely emotional and normally a relationship based, okay? But it can also be a wounding or an experience or some sort of situation that you came out of not feeling good about, okay? So this is a chance now to deal with this situation and put it to bed finally. And the way to deal with breaking these old patterns is to actually take this situation or whatever went down and to actually bring it into the light. And the way you do that is by fully acknowledging that situation or that person or that conversation or whatever went down that hurt you or caused drama in your life. That situation must come into the light. So what you have to do is you have to look at it and understand what purpose it had in your life, what function it had, what was the purpose of it being in your life. And then once you understand the reason it was there or still there, once you understand that and you accept it and you forgive the circumstances around it, you don't necessarily forgive the person if there's been an issue, but you free yourself from being trapped in that situation. You free yourself from that. You acknowledge that it had a purpose and it had a function. You accept that function, and then you release it and you let it go. And it should not reoccur then, okay? It should not, because you're not burying it. You're not putting it aside. You're not putting it on the back burner. It doesn't slip into your unconscious life and cause trouble. You're boldly accepting it and that it has had a place in your life. So that is how you deal with this. But it's about breaking old cycles of some sort, old pain or old issues that keep reoccurring. This card can also bring in issues to do with learning and teaching. So there may be aspects of that, learning and teaching, which you need to deal with as well. But it can also be publishing. Perhaps you need to communicate about your pain or about your experiences with others who are going through the same thing. So there may be a sort of a counseling aspect coming in on that as well. So you could be helping somebody else with their own pain because you've been through it. This is about wisdom through pain. That is what this card brings in. But it's the transformation of that. And you can only transform it if you bring it into the light, into your conscious mind, and actually face it. This card can also bring in aspects of unexpected visits to hospitals or places of medical, medical facilities, or some kind of healing place. You may be required to go to that in some way, shape, or form. So this could be a local trip somewhere, if it's a healing thing, or it could be, sort of hospital doors, so visiting a hospital of some kind, or a medical visit. But it's kind of not necessarily, it's kind of an unexpected thing. It could also be that the world of natural healing, natural therapies, and all forms of natural remedies and home remedies, traditional medicine, all of those aspects may be coming into your world in some way. So you may be expressing knowledge to another to assist them, or you could be learning about this, or you could be writing about it, blogging, publishing, something about that, or you could just be going to any one of these aspects for healing. So this is naturopathy, chiropractic, homeopathy, any of those alternative therapies is ruled by this card. So you could be getting healing through this modality, or you could be exploring it from a learning point of view, or just for your own personal improvement. Okay, so any one of those aspects could be coming in for you, but there's expression to do with this. There's communication. There's even if it's communication with self, it's understanding so that you can release and move forward. In the fourth house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. Fourth house is your house of your home, your actual home, and it's also the house of your family roots, foundations, and so on. So house and family. So when you say house, this could be your home. It can be the physical structure where you actually reside, but it can also just be where you are residing currently, or it could be your home life. So who's in your home, the relationship with the people in your home, or the atmosphere in your home. And it can also be your relationship to your family. So your roots, your foundation, your ethnic identity, your ancestry, all of that, where you came from, and your relationship with that, and the people in that. So with Grand Cross Provoker, this is a very strong card to be having in this house. So there is stuff going down in this house for you at this time. There's things going down here. So this is a form of clamping, a form of restriction, a form of limitation. It's 4 very hard angles coming down at you all at once. So this could be intense pressure from all different aspects, or it could be restriction, or it could be limitation. Or it could just be frustration with certain aspects not moving forward. So it's almost like being in the center of that, and you've got all those angles on you. So you could also be just juggling too many things going on at once. You're spread too thin. Okay. So the whole point of this intense pressure is to build up strength. So inner strength, stamina, and endurance. Because once you get to grips with everything that's going on, and there's a method about which you can do this, once you get to grips with what's going on, then you can really experience incredible inner growth and strength. So because of there's so many things going on at once, and you've got it coming at you from all angles, what you have to do is prioritize what is the most important. So there's consolidation about what needs to be done. Timing is important. And then you prioritize. You've got to use your energy wisely. You can't spread yourself too thin because then you will wear yourself out. So you've got to use your energy wisely to deal with each thing as it comes up. But if you can get a handle on that, you will make great strides personally, and there will be intense growth. So see how that applies for you in your house and your family environment. Then in the 5th house, we have Neptune sacrifice. This Neptune card has got a number of aspects coming in, so I'll try to give you as broad a picture as possible. But your 5th house is your house of your creative expression, which can be artistic, but not necessarily. So it's your creative or artistic expression, whatever is right for you. It's also the house of children. So this is your children, or it can be children in your general environment. It's also the conception of children and everything to do with children, all right? It's also the house of love affairs and what goes on there. And also the house of recreational activities. So this is fun, recreational activities. It can also be sports. So this is sports clubs or sports activities that you're involved in and all that goes with that. But as I said, it can be just fun, recreational activities of all kinds. It's also the house of speculation. So these can be activities like gambling or following the stock exchange and so on. And those are also both activities. Okay, so taking risks and so on. So now with Neptune sacrifice coming in, you may just find that there's a couple of ways this can play out, but you may just find that in some way, shape or form, a sacrifice is required from you for the greater good. Okay, so for the greater good, some aspect in there is requiring this from you. It could also be that you're undergoing some form of ego death, which can bring in a dark night of the soul. All right. So this is deep contemplation about what to do and your place in everything going on. It could also be one of your children is going through this. All right. So see how that plays out for you. But in all cases with Neptune, because it has an illusionary quality about it, things can be clouded. All right. So things can be clouded or shrouded in mystery of some kind. So what you need to do is you need to be very clear about what you say and do when Neptune is present, all right? Because there will be confusing circumstances, there will be illusion around, things will be cloudy, they won't be clear. So this you can apply in any way or any one of those 5th house aspects. But it can also symbolize that somebody, either yourself or somebody in your environment, is going into the wrong crowd or busy with the wrong crowd, or there can be victim consciousness going on in your 5th house. So whether it's you or somebody else, it can bring that victim consciousness coming in. So make sure that the sacrifice is for the greater good and not out of martyrdom. Okay, in other words, a sort of a poor me kind of mindset. The other aspect of Neptune, and this is very appropriate for the creative side of this house, but also from a love affair as well, or even when you're connecting with your children, because children are naturally imaginative. Neptune brings in a connection with the divine, but it can also heighten your imagination and your artistic and creative side. So Neptune is wonderful for that aspect if you are using that and as part of your life at this time. And don't underestimate that, because we all use our creativity every day. Artistic nature can be very specific to certain people, but it is wonderful for that. It's wonderful for accessing those realms, downloading information and producing it in written or art or the arts or any kind of, like writing and drawing and painting and illustration and all of those. And the fantasy realm comes in under Neptune. Glamour comes in under Neptune, so you can sort of channel that into your work at this time. So it's downloads from the divine. You could be connecting with the divine, you could be really connecting with that and actually able to produce something as a result of that, like channeling. But it covers the arts as well, so the arts may be very important for you. It also rules the film industry, so this may be appropriate for you in this house at this time, or maybe your children or something like that. There's some connection possibly there for you. It also rules cosmetics, oils, perfumes, all of those aspects. Then in the 6th house, we have Saturn Truth. 6th house is the house of work, workplace, work routines, your work colleagues, your mastery of your craft. It's the house of health and diet and lifestyle, and it's the house of pets. So with this card coming in, very strong card to be having in here, this is basically a reality check. So in this house, somewhere along the line, you need to have a really thorough reality check. Anything that is not built on with a strong foundation, anything that's wobbly or uncertain will simply crumble. So this is going to shake the foundations of anything in this house which is not strongly built or doesn't have a good foundation, or there's no system in place. So only the strongest foundation will do under the aspects of Saturn. Okay, so you need to bring in systems, you need to bring in structure, and there's building that is required with this. It's a slow-moving energy. You could also be dealing with authorities of some kind, or an authority figure, because that comes in with Saturn. So see how that plays out for you. It could be a boss, or it could be some other authority that you're dealing with in the 6th house. It could also be that you have a taskmaster in your work environment that is really putting you under a lot of pressure. You may feel unappreciated at the moment. You may be working long hours and getting absolutely, or what you perceive to be, nothing out of it. And that nothing you do is good enough. That can come in with Saturn. But with a taskmaster like that, in the future, if you do the work now, you will look back and realize that you learned a lot during that period. But the best way to deal with it is to apply yourself 100%, in fact 120%, put the systems and structure in place and the building materials in place, and build strong foundations, learn as much as you can. You may just have to work through some difficult periods, as I said, long hours, limitations, and not feeling that you're getting anywhere, or not feeling good enough, and some sort of austerity going on. That could be coming in, or it could just be tough times, you know. So austerity, there could be trimming going on. So if you're in an industry which is perhaps not flourishing like it should be, there could be trimming, cutbacks, and so on going on. But it's a very realistic energy that this comes in with. It could also be that certain things need to be changed up. So what is not working for you must fall away to bring in better harmony, structure, balance, all those wonderful things, and achievement. Saturn is all about achievement. Saturn wants to bring you achievement, but you cannot do it on a wobbly foundation. That's basically it. From a health and diet and a lifestyle point of view, all skeletal issues, so bones and your skeletal frame may need attention at this time. So this is where visiting the chiropractor may be important. Your teeth, if you've got dental issues, deal with them, don't leave them, because that could be a serious issue for you. Saturn also rules the ligaments and tendons. Everything that holds you up, your structure in your body, could be taking strain at this time. So watch your calcium and magnesium levels. 2:1 is the ratio that's required. Calcium and magnesium may be very important at this time. Vitamin D, check those levels, address that to give your body strength at this time, to hold you up during the stressful periods. Then in the 7th house, we have Taurus. 7th house is the house of relationships. So this is close, personal, one-on-one relationships, whether it's a love relationship or a partnership. It could be a business partnership or some other close, personal, one-on-one relationship at this time. It does also rule the lower courts as well. So now with this coming in, Taurus is all about relaxation, comfort, sensuality, luxuries, and so on, and the desire for that. So you may be desiring this in your relationship at this time, or if you're not in a relationship, then you may be desiring to bring this in some way. So relaxation, comfort, sensuality, and luxuries, or the need for home comforts, the need for good food, and the need for comforting in some way. But it can also cover money matters. So the accumulation of money and dealing with that in some way. And this is joint between you and another. That could also come in, but it can also just be the accumulation of funds in some way and everything to do with that, and finance. It's also the card of materialism coming in. So ownership and growth and planting or building, all right? So however that plays out for you in your relationship house. It's also about you needing to be reliable at this time, and steadfast, okay? So steadfast through whatever is going down. There may be difficulties around, as I said. But it could also be that you have some stubborn views or mindsets which may be getting in the way of your relationship, whether it's a love partnership or a business partnership. You may have stubborn views and mindsets which are getting in the way, and those need to be addressed. Okay, so this card also covers the arts in some way. So you may be needing to do that, or your partner may be needing to do that as an outlet, or as a joint interest in your relationship to lighten things up and to bring bonding in. Or it could be that you're involved in it as a business venture, or it could be that there's something about it which is going to enhance what the relationship side of your chart. So the arts may be coming in for you as well. Or you could be meeting, or you could be involved with somebody who has artistic talents or has an artistic background or is involved in the arts in some way. Then in the 8th house, we have North Node, Life's Purpose. Beautiful card to be having in the 8th house. So the 8th house is kind of a continuation from your committed, this is a committed relationship. The 8th house is a continuation of that. So this is the house of sexuality. It's the house of endings and beginnings, but it's also the house of rebirth or regeneration in some way. It's also the house of big finance. So this is accounting, banking, investments, insurances, taxes, assets, and inheritances and legacies even. It's the house of the joining of material and emotional resources between two people. So this can be between you and your significant other, your committed partner, or it could be between you and a business partner. So it's the merging of that and everything that goes down with that. So it's quite a broad house. With this card coming in, North Node is Life's Purpose. So all events that are going down in this house are purposeful at this time. So you're going to find that you're right place, right time with this card. You're going to be finding yourself in just the right position to harness something. It brings in positive karma, doors opening, as I said, all events are purposeful and destined for you. You could be moving ahead in some way. You're going to have the support of the universe to get where you need to be. Wealth, the opportunity for wealth is very strong with this card. It also brings in soul family and support from that. So when I say soul family, these are people that come into your environment who you're going to have an instant connection with, and they're going to be so very supportive of you and what you're trying to do at this time. So it could be anybody, just somebody that you have a deep connection with. It can be a partnership, a relationship of some sort, or it could be somebody else. But in all cases, the 8th house is about managing other people's resources or being involved with other people's resources as well. So it could be something to do with that. But there's a very strong financial aspect to this card and this house. But it is also about timing and being in the right place at the right time. Doors opening. It's like the pathway is open for you now. You're now going forward into your life's purpose. And this is the pathway which leads you there. And it's coming up in the 8th house. So you really have a lot of very positive aspects coming in for you in this card. It brings in very positive karma. Then in the 9th house, we have Black Moon Lilith Mystery. So this card coming into your 9th house, the 9th house is your house of all things international, so all things foreign. You may be involved or sort of connecting with that in some way. So you meeting the world or the world meeting you in some way. Or it could be, or it can be adventure and exploration. So that could be attached to international or foreign things, but it could just be you in, adventure and exploration could come in this house. It also is about higher education and learning. So this is university level education and also adult education. It's also the house of your relationship with your in-laws. It's the house of the law and the higher courts. Okay, so that may come in for you. So it's either the study of that or you're involved in legal issues right now. It is very much the house of understanding or studying or somehow being involved in philosophy, religion, and belief systems. The search for meaning and purpose, seeking truth as well. And this is where the law comes in. So seeking truth, finding meaning and purpose, faith, wisdom. It's also about using your intuition and seeking the truth from that aspect. Okay, but it can also be from a legal aspect. So with all of this coming in, it can also be on a practical level. It can be about teaching and about publishing and public relations of all kinds, or dealing with the public in the wider frame. So this is, kind of a wider audience. Now, having said all that, the Black Moon Lilith card mystery is saying that somewhere in this 9th house, there are unknown factors going down. So undercurrents are happening. Something is lurking. Something is unknown. It's there. But you don't have all the facts yet. You're waiting for something to happen. You don't have all the facts. Your intuition is alerted in some way. All right? So you're going to be needing to use your intuition to guide you through this situation. But there's a kind of a darker energy attached to this. But it has a very strong feminine influence. So you may be wanting to stand in your feminine strength at this time, if that is applicable for you. But it could also be that there are a lot of emotional undercurrents going on with this. So it's almost like if there are a lot of emotional undercurrents going on, and these are like feelings of revolt, revenge, anger, envy, guilt, and feelings of being overlooked or slighted in some way. And all those swirling darker energies, bitchiness can also come in with this card. So you may have these feelings around an issue, or you could be getting them directed at you from someone else, all right? Or from a group of others, depending on how it's working for you. You could just be feeling a revolt or revenge or the urge to do that in some way. So what you need to do is find a healthy outlet for that, all right? You need to transform those emotions, because there are changes going on. There are changes going on. So you need to transform those feelings, take it from that to a newer form through those rough changes or that turbulence to bring in the new. Okay, so that is important for you at this time. So just be careful what you say or do at this time in this house, because it could bring upon you more difficulty and actually undo a lot of stuff that you've already sorted out, or you think you've sorted out. So just be careful that in moments of anger or fear or rebellion or revolt or whatever is going on, or even feelings of revenge, that you don't say or do something to cause an upheaval and undo the work that you've already done. As I said, it could also be that you're receiving this from somewhere. Or it could just be that there are a lot of unknown factors going on in this house and things are not clear right now. Then in the 10th house, we have Saturn return age. So 10th house is your house of career and fame and reputation and your public status. It's also the house of authority figures, so or authoritative institutions. So it could also be, as I said, somebody in your environment, whether it's a parent, or it could be a workplace, or it could just be an authority figure in generally, somebody that you admire, all right, or somebody that you consider a guru. Or it could be, as I said, an authoritative institution. So with this card coming in, this is it has a return energy. So this is something that is coming back after a long period of time. If you are a young person, then this could just be the gaining of wisdom, all right? Or if you're an older person, then Saturn normally takes 29 years to go right around the chart. So at the age of 29, it comes as a return. And then later on, 58, around 58, it comes back again. So Saturn return age, this is about reap what you sow. That is the energy of this card. So what has stood the test of time? All right. So again, it's a Saturn energy. So it's taking a realistic look at everything. All right. What has worked for you? What hasn't? What has crumbled or fallen away? What has been lost? Because whatever has been lost or whatever has crumbled and fallen away, it wasn't built on a strong foundation to begin with, or it wasn't appropriate at the time. It wasn't right for you. So, but normally it's when something is built on a shaky foundation, it falls away. So, so what has been strong and has lasted through the time is what you will reap the benefits from. But if there are too many factors which weren't conducive for it to stay strong, will fall away. Destiny is at work with this card. All right. So there's a kind of a correction energy going on. You need to release and redirect and correct your course right now. And this could just be purely energy, or it could be to do with anything of those 10th house aspects. So if you're an older person, it's asking you to analyze, what were you supposed to do, or what were you meant to do? You need to be your authentic self now. You need to pull your authentic self out. You need to take responsibility for your own goals and what it is you really wanted to do, or what you really want to do, because there is freedom in that process. As soon as you get clarity around that, it will free you up to release and redirect. So there's a course correction there. It's about gaining wisdom through hindsight, and it's going to test what you are made of at this time. All right. So you could be having a clash with an authoritative institution right now, and you could experience a loss of some kind. Or it could just be something that falls away and now you've got to rebuild. But you have to look at it carefully to figure out why it fell away. All right. So it's a testing time, but it's a rebuilding energy. And anything that you have laid correctly, you will benefit from now. But anything that you undertake at this time, which is on a solid foundation and is working for you, you will achieve from it. And it will be a long-lasting achievement. Then in the 11th house, we have Moon Sol. So 11th house is your house of friendships, and it's the house of your ideals, your hopes and dreams for yourself, your visions. It's also the house of your hobbies and your interests, okay? It also rules group activities of all kinds. So any group activity that you're involved in, whether it's a society or a club or an association, it can also be global consciousness, group consciousness, social reform. So movements to do with that. It's also about reading trends in society and so on. It's also about systems and groups and organizational groups and being part of a group of companies even. It can be that. So all group activities. Now with Moon Sol coming in, this has got quite a personal aspect to it, but it has also got a crowds and a fame aspect to it. So from a personal aspect, this may be that with certain things going on in your environment, you may be losing a few friendships going on. There may be that. Or things are changing, cycles. People are coming and going from your life. It could be bringing other people from far back into your life. So, but whatever's going on, high emotion with the Moon card. Your gut feelings are what you should be following right now. You may be feeling vulnerable or trapped in some way. So you may be feeling stifled with a relationship, like a friendship or in some situation or with a group activity, but you could be feeling vulnerable or stifled in some way, or there's clinginess going on. As I said, people from the past may come in as well, but there are changes and cycles with this card because it's ruled by the moon. You may have the urge to feel safe. So changing things up or chopping and changing things may not be appropriate at this time. You may feel like you wanted to stay safe and keep things as they are. So therefore you could be clinging, or you could be trying to hang on to something that, just to make yourself feel safe. There could be lack of clarity at this time, or, understanding what is the way forward right now. Because sometimes the moon can put a veil over things. It could also be that you have a lot of old habits, which could be to do with friendships as well, or perhaps your group activities, or just with the way you outlook, your dreams and your visions and your habits and your hobbies and your interests. You could have a lot of old habits which are holding you back in some way, or you need to change these habits up, or it could be that you are moody in some way, or you could be seeing this in a friendship. All right, so habits comes up, moodiness cycles. It could also be that you experience a betrayal or a deception of some kind in this house. So that could come up with a friendship or in some situation to do with the 11th house. Secrets may come up under the influence of the moon, because the moon can also veil things, but it can actually also reveal things as well. So secrets could be coming up. This card has a strong female aspect to it. So you could be understanding or exploring women's wisdom, or understanding or exploring female issues, or there could be a strong mother figure in your environment which is influencing you in some way, or you could be aspecting that part of yourself in your friendships or in your activities that you're busy with in the 11th house. As I said, crowds and fame also come up with this card. So if you're involved in a group activity or social reform or global consciousness that may be coming in for you, maybe you're involved in some way. Under the influence of the moon, your imagination will be strong. Your dreams, take note of your dreams. It could also be an expression of talent that you are wanting to do, and that is in a public way. So this is where your hobbies and interests come in as well. So it's expression of talent, and that is being highlighted publicly. This card can also bring in speculation. So you could be involved in that in some way, taking a risk, or you could be involved in activities which are speculative. Okay, so that's normally the stock exchange and so on. Then in the 12th house, we have the other end of the scale. So in the 8th house, you had North Node Life's purpose, which is all about the future and moving forward in your life onto your mission and your path and so on. And in the 12th house, we have the South Node, which is life's debts. So the 12th house is the house of your unconscious self, what is going on behind the scenes as well. So this can be behind the scenes in your life, but also behind the scenes in yourself, the unconscious. The 12th house is where you go to retreat, where you withdraw, and where you go for solitude and reflection. It's the house of your spiritual life, your meditation, your mysticism, and your healing. It's the house of escapism, but that can also lead to addictions of all kinds and drug abuse and so on. It's also the house of resolutions and endings. It's the house of service to others. So that could be a profession for you or something that you do currently. It is also the house of karmic lessons, which is indicated with this card. So it can also be aspects of your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So whether that's a hospital, which did come up before as well, or it can be like a library or a university or a government institution, or a banking institution, or a prison or whatever. Any one of those aspects could be coming up for you. But now with South Node Life's debts, what it is saying to you is that karmic lessons are going to be very strong at this time with this card. So there is an aspect of letting go. There are a lot of things, this is baggage. There's certain things that need to be dropped or cast off or let go of or released in order for you to move forward. So whether this, as I said, prompts you then to take action in your first house because you've done the work with this, or whether this you decide to take action and you cleanse this and you actually do a thorough purge, all right? Whatever way it goes for you. But this is about, experiencing restrictions of some kind and going through karmic lessons. Doors closing, some may actually slam, all right? So something old and familiar falls away to make way for the new. Resolutions and endings, this can be old, sort of unresolved things that should have been sorted out a long time ago, never did get sorted out, come up again, and now you get the chance to do that. And that came up in your third house, which is your house of communication. So this is also about habits. And this can be a belief or a mindset or an attitude or an addiction or a codependency or an attachment to something which doesn't serve you anymore. It's got to go. all right? So resolve it and let it go. Old baggage that must be let go of, dropped or cast off. So what has held you back has got to go. So you have to examine what has held you back. This is a turning point, this card, very much so. And if falling in the 12th house, even more so, all right? Dramatic change comes in. It can be endings and beginnings, as I said. So it's going to force you out of a rut and into a higher version of yourself. So this could be purely a consciousness situation that's going on. You could be approaching this from a very spiritual aspect, or you are gaining a spiritual ascension in some way. Because you're letting go, then you climb up your spiritual ascension ladder. And that may be obtained through meditation, mysticism, or healing, which again came up in your 3rd house, or just you deciding enough is enough. Okay? So keep trying, because you may get rejected, or things may not work out the first time that you try to do this, or if there's something specific you're trying to shift. You must keep trying until you strike the right note, until you get it. Okay? You may just need to keep trying. What you're going to do is you're going to create a foundation for something much, much better in the future, but you can't do it until you let go of the old things. So you're going to be reaching towards full potential in some way. As I said, whether this is purely consciousness, or it could be some other issue, or it could be internally, which then reflects externally, that gives you the motivation to move forward. But there's a fresh start available for you with this, and you simply must do it, okay? Also, this can bring in soul family. So this can be people that come in at the right time just to assist you to move forward right now. So people that you have a deep connection with, to assist you to move forward. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe. Yeah, take care and have a great month, and I will see you next time.